It's just some new habits, habits of kindness, habits of warmth, habits of putting yourself in the other person's shoes, and habits of honoring yourself as well in the process. The combination of that can be a revolution in somebody's life, in my experience.
Thank you, honey. I couldn't help but when you were talking about level 4, that, for those of you who may be transitioning in a relationship, because I think that's a great opportunity to practice this. A lot of times we think that, during a divorce or separation, that it's like, oh, there's no love there, or it's a loveless marriage. And yet maybe it's an opportunity in those moments for more love, not less, to lean into it. And even if you decide, and gosh, you know what, I choose not to spend the rest of my life with this individual, it's true for me and for us to, go a different way. Finding those threads of common ground, looking for ways to be kind. You'd shared a big part of your life. It doesn't have to be so painful. It doesn't have to be so clunky. We really can do it consciously and kindly. And if you didn't, and if you haven't, 20 years later, we have the opportunity, I think, to tidy it up.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the gift of grace. That's the gift of compassion. That's the gift of mercy. And that's the gift of this human experience, is that we've all been blind. We've all been unconscious. And so, and we all have an opportunity to realign and to tune and to offer what's more sincere here now.
I couldn't agree more.
I love you two human beings. I love this family.
You too. I'm going to turn you back over to this family of mine that I love so much and let you have just their perspective. I know that most of you, if you're listening to this right now, are still listening and haven't turned us off and go, oh, this is a bunch of BS, syrupy stuff. Then some part of your soul knows it to be true. So don't have to make it a big deal. It's those little steps that start to link together into new habits. And then that shapes, it brings you back to your true character. I think the character we all have before we get conditioned by fear and pain and loss and disappointment and all the things that are just a part of the natural experience. And I'd just say also, it's like, what is love? The biggest way to have more love is to focus on what you appreciate and give up your expectations. I always say, the fastest way to change your life is trade your expectations, for your appreciation. And there's always some appreciation. When you do that, your whole world changes. And that's really the theme, I think, of what we're talking about here.
It is. I also want to maybe just acknowledge you and thank you. And thank you for those that are tuning in and listening, for sharing the Tony Robbins podcast. It extends to this family. And this wouldn't be happening, Mary. It was your vision.
Yes,
absolutely. You've created it. It's been your inspiration, and you just keep bringing these beautiful notions and topics of conversation. And I just want to say thank you, because your whole passion was the world deserves to know different faces of love. And I can't thank you enough for, having the vision of this and the inspiration of this. And you've worked so hard on this whole project. And Tone, thank you for sharing the Tony Robbins podcast. And for those of you too, love you dearly, Mary B.
I got a front row seat to this love, and it's too beautiful to not share it, not put it out there.
Well, it's because of you that it is. And for those of you who tune in, thank you for being so cool and awesome and willing to share, just in have this family be expanded and have share our inner world with you. So thank you for your love of offering your heart and spending the time with us today.
Okay, guys, I've got to go to my scheduled meetings that are behind, but I'm so grateful you invited me to partake in this, and I'm going to turn you out, our family and our extended audience out listening in to these two beautiful souls right here that I love so, so much. They're going to take over from here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tone. You're always welcome here
Love you guys.
at the Tony Robbins podcast.
Mary, I love that this topic has come up for us and that we decided to have a conversation, with Valentine's Day and the focus on romantic love, which is an aspect of love. But as we all know, it certainly is much more broad and beautiful than that love alone. I think sometimes in society or in life, we have the perception that love is coming from outside of ourselves. And with that, innocently, we as humans place demands or expectations because it's something that we want to get. I want love. I want you to love me. I want to find the love of my life. I want a mate. I want. And that perception or filter or lens of love is deducting, because it's something that, number one, we don't have control of from the love of the outside. But truthfully, the love that we experience, from my own experience, is the love that we are. And I think that's the most beautiful awareness or reality, is recognizing that our nature is love.
That reminds me of how at some seminars, a relationship seminar, a Date with Destiny seminar, oftentimes, Tony, you guys have an exercise where you'll ask the audience to make a list.
Yes.
And say, write down all the things, think of your ideal relationship, think of your ideal partner, make a list of everything you'd like them to be.
Uh-huh.
What do they look like? What do they act like? What's their sense of humor like? Everything. What's their favorite book? And people come up with these long lists. And then Tony will say, okay, now make a list of the love that you would have to be to attract that person that you just described. And we often have a little laugh, because people's lists of how they would have to be as love is often a lot shorter than the list of that the other would have to give. So
in our media, social media, or the lens of the world, love, the word itself has been so distorted. The word itself has been so diluted or deducted, and that a lot of people innocently don't even believe in the reality that they are love, or that love is possible. Love is, gosh, what's that prayer? Love is gentle and kind. Those two attributes are so missed. Love is gentle. It is kind. It's inclusive. It's accepting. There's an allowance. Having, our daughter and having a little one at this stage, and, she's just 20 months. And it's so remarkable to me that whether she pees on you, throws up on you, or every other bodily function that transpires, there's just this enjoyment, this appreciation, this adoration of the experience of the innocence and the purity. And I think through the filter, maybe through the, these movies or these ideal, or different cartoons that portray this, maybe princess and prince, and, this individual is going to come and, save you. There's a miss of the beautiful, awesome reality of how we are created. And when we connect to that, when we tune into that, when we tap into that reality, it's so beautiful, because then we just get to extend that. Yeah. We get to share that rather than unconditionally, rather than expect that.